Welcome back to Ecoblog, and slightly less sunny weather than we have had in the past. So winter's coming on. Sarah, you want to talk about the home?
Yeah, we're thinking or hoping to improve our home and making it a bit more sustainable. What can we do? What can we do sort of now?
Right. Well, I think I'll refer to some of the government policy that's already in place. So there are sort of three areas we can look at here. The first is the planning permissions that are available currently, and perhaps that there are a few little urban myths about this, so it would be good to settle that. The second are the home improvements, of which there are some government schemes. And the third area is probably the electricity, or at least the sale and purchase of electricity, and how that can interact with some of the changes we have now, such as electric cars and photovoltaic roofs.
And if I wanted to install solar panels or a wind turbine, do I have to go through planning permission?
Now, there's a very good interactive tool on the government's website, and I will put the link in the notes associated with this. For photovoltaics, in other words solar panels, photovoltaics and solar thermal water heating and electrical production through panels on your roof, you don't need planning permission. However, that doesn't apply to a conservation area where you will have to go through the process. It doesn't mean you're going to be refused, it just means you have to go through the process. So the great thing, yes, solar panels, no problem. You don't need permission. Now, the other thing you don't need permission for is the ground source heat pump, partly because they're not visible. If you're using an air source heat pump, you will have to go through a permissions process because it might impinge on your neighbours or it might be visible. So that would be just a process of ensuring that it was suitably placed, because you have to have a fan that is based outdoors. The other ones that are available, if you are trying to bring light into the building through a skylight, that doesn't require planning permission. This could be an environmental aspect if you're trying to bring light into an already dark building where originally you'd been using artificial lighting. So those are the three main areas. And a wind turbine, a wind turbine does need planning permission because it's more visible. However, there is no cost on the planning permission on this one, so you can apply at no cost. Those are most of the areas that would be of most interest to people. If you're starting to talk about larger structures, so for example you might be designing a building where you might want a glass facade, if it was a small unit, a sort of conservatory aspect, then this is something that wouldn't require planning permission. But often if you're building a passive house, you might need a large area of glazing. It has a very visual effect, and it's something that would have to go through the permission process. In terms of general aesthetics and design, there are guidelines. The guideline that I'm going to be reading from here is the Residential Design Guidance that was published in July 2019 by DEFA, and I'll put a link to that. Of interest here is that a lot of the time we think we're looking at a very, very conservative planning policy, which influences the way in which some people try and put permissions forward, that they try and put more conservative designs forward because they are concerned they might be refused. I think it's worth pointing out that there are some progressive moves in this document, and I will just quote from a little section here. If the context to a development has been compromised by earlier development, this should not be seen as a reason to perpetuate what has been done before. Opportunities should be sought to deliver high-quality, sustainable development that reflects up-to-date technologies and aesthetics and creates a strong sense of place. So that's just one quote, 2.2.4, which gives an indication of a new approach really to sustainability within planning. I hope to follow this up with a representative from planning, and then we can give perhaps some more insights on the focus, which will obviously be going in accordance to changes in overall government approach to sustainability. So watch this space for the next episode.
Interesting, really interesting.